A bunch of cancel-happy idiots are now taking aim at a new ride in Disney World, modeled after Snow White, because the park had the audacity to include the part at the end of the movie where the prince kisses Snow White and wakes her up from a coma. Because apparently it's a problem that this cartoon dude didn't ask his cartoon girlfriend's consent as she was laying there unconscious, courtesy of a poison apple from her wicked stepmother. Now, given the choice between staying knocked out flat on her back in a glass coffin surrounded by sad little woodland creatures for the rest of time and getting smooched on by a handsome hero with lots of money, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Snow White here was cool with option number 2. So given that, I'm not really sure why all of these bored adults are so up in arms about a ride at a theme park. Well, that and also the fact that it's a freaking cartoon, morons! And this whole cancel culture bullcrap? Getting pretty old. Okay, so you've canceled Aunt Jemima, Mr. Potato Head, and Pepe Le freaking Pew, and now you're going after a classic old movie and an amusement park ride that's modeled after it because the princess gets woken up by true love's kiss, and God forbid the fictional dude who did it didn't get a signed and notarized consent form beforehand. At this point, I'm not even sure that this is a left versus right issue. I'm pretty sure this is just a whole bunch of normal people watching a few inmates running the asylum while we're all over here trying to figure out what you fools are smoking. Writers Katie Dowd and Julie Tremaine wrote about this horrendous oversight on SFgate because I can only assume they're lonely, bored out of their gourds, and have nothing else to think about except triggering 80-year-old cartoons. But you know, these days crazy snowflakes need something to get upset about and don't have the reasoning skills or the attention span to deal with actual problems, so I guess Snow White it is. Never mind that this chick is literally lying in the woods in a coma and can't exactly give a thumbs up to the poor sap who's just trying to wake her up. And never mind the fact that she's a cartoon and that this is an embarrassingly stupid discussion to even be having in the first place. Quick question, what kind of a dumpster diving, live in your mama's basement, been on unemployment for 6 years kind of loser do you have to be to care about this stuff? Don't you have bills to pay, jobs to go to, anything at all to occupy your time other than freak out over an old children's movie and a theme park ride? I don't know, learn a foreign language, read a book, take up the harmonica, whatever, because this is so lame. Disney released Snow White in the 30s, for heaven's sake. It has been around nearly 80 years, and the Brothers Grimm had published the original story about 120 years before that. And so far, it hasn't spawned a generation of emotionally disturbed children who are running around trying to sexually assault people in their sleep. But you know, while we're on that messed up subject, there is a guy most of y'all have conveniently forgotten about who has been credibly accused of sexually assaulting women pretty much on the regular, and he's still the governor of New York. So if you really cared that much about the issue of creepy men touching women against their will, maybe leave the century-old cartoon alone and deal with the guy currently signing bills into law in one of the most populated states in the country. At least the prince in Snow White was actually trying to save the love of his life. What's Cuomo's excuse? She needed help breathing? Sexual assault in a cartoon, give me a freaking break. If that were a big deal to you, you would have listened to Tara Reid when she accused Joe Biden of groping her back when he was a senator, or, I don't know, the umpteen gazillion women who've said the same thing about Bill Clinton. But it looks like if there's one lesson that you guys took away from Snow White, it's how to sweep stuff right under a rug. Snow White is a cartoon. She is not real. She doesn't emote. She runs around the woods singing with squirrels, and she lives with 7 dudes who mine diamonds and still sleep in trundle beds, and her creepy stepmom can magically turn herself into a crone. Nothing about that is real. But I'm pretty sure if you gave girlfriend here a choice between staying in a coma forever and getting kissed awake by a prince, she'd probably choose consciousness. Seems like the logical pick given the circumstances. Again, if she were real and not a freaking cartoon. This is why we can't have nice things. You weirdos think telling 3-year-olds that they were born in the wrong body is perfectly normal, but somehow an old movie where the girl winds up with a prince is the thing that's gonna screw kids up. You know what's actually harming people? What's messing up our kids? It's not an old Disney movie or a cartoon skunk or a gendered plastic potato doll or the face on the bottle of pancake syrup or any of the other inane objects you've targeted for canceling, because tackling real-world issues might require you to put down the keyboard and get your whining, perpetually victimized backside up off the couch. In McDowell County, West Virginia, the drug problem has gotten so bad the state attorney general had to hold a seminar for teachers to help them recognize the signs of human trafficking because kids were being sold by their parents for drug money. In Baltimore, where per-student spending is among the highest in the nation, one school has come under fire because literally hundreds of its students are failing. At Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts, less than 5% of all students are proficient in math and English, and the graduation rate sits at 48%, and that is just one inner-city school. In Chicago, the number of children being shot to death is on the rise. 13 were shot to death last year, and so far we're on par to match that in 2021. And that doesn't count all the ones who were shot and survived. Did you know that according to our most recent data, approximately 11 million children in the United States are living in poverty? The U.S. is also one of the most active countries in the world for child sex trafficking. You want to talk about problems affecting kids? There are a few actual issues to get you started. Real problems that need real solutions, not bored adults with nothing better to do with their time that get peeved off about a ride at a children's amusement park. So step out from behind your computer and find something more productive to do with your time than cancel everything you can get your overly victimized little hands on. Because the rest of us over here in Sanity Town are freaking sick of it. And that's your Reality Check, America. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble pages, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and for the love of God, try to stay sane out there.